Jake lived in a small, quiet town surrounded by green hills and fresh air. It was a peaceful place where everyone knew each other. Jake owned a flower shop called Bloom and Bright. The shop was full of beautiful flowers. Every day, Jake woke up early to take care of his flowers. He loved his work. He made beautiful bouquets for people, and his customers always left with smiles on their faces. But despite his success, Jake felt lonely. He lived by himself in a small apartment. After a long day of work, Jake would sit by the window, look at the stars, and think to himself, I wish I had someone to share my life with. One day, a new family moved into the town. Emma, a young woman, came to live there with her grandmother. Emma was a kind and cheerful person. She loved to paint, read books, and spend time with her little dog, Max. She was excited to be in a new town. Her grandmother, who had always wanted to live in a quiet place, was happy as well. One morning, as they sat on the porch of their new home, Emma's grandmother said, "This place feels like home already." Emma smiled and replied, "Yes, Grandma, I think we will love it here." The next day, Emma's grandmother said, "Let's go to the flower shop." "I need to buy some roses for a new house," Emma agreed. She was happy to visit the shop and see the flowers. When they arrived at Bloom and Bright, Emma was amazed by the colourful flowers in the shop. The shop smelled sweet and fresh. There were vases of flowers everywhere. Emma smiled and said, "Wow, this place is amazing." She felt like she had just walked into a dream. Jake was standing behind the counter, arranging some flowers. When he saw Emma and her grandmother, he smiled and said, "Good morning. How can I help you today?" Emma's grandmother said, "I'd like to buy some roses, please." Jake carefully picked out the most beautiful red and white roses and made a perfect bouquet. As he worked, Emma said, "You have such beautiful flowers here. How long have you had this shop?" Jake smiled and answered, "I've had the shop for 5 years. Flowers are my passion." Emma introduced herself. "My name is Emma. This is my grandmother." "Nice to meet you, Emma," Jake said. "I'm Jake." When they left the shop, Jake felt happy. He watched them walk away, and for the first time in a long time, he felt a little less lonely. Emma seemed so kind, Jake thought, "I hope she comes back again." Later that evening, after a long day of work, Jake sat by his window as usual. But this time, he didn't feel as lonely. He thought about Emma and her smile. "I hope she comes back to my shop soon," he thought. There was something special about her that made him feel good. A few days later, Emma returned to the shop. This time, she came by herself. She walked in with a big smile and said, "Hi, Jake, I need more flowers for my house." Jake's heart skipped a beat when he saw her again. He smiled and said, "Welcome back, Emma. What kind of flowers would you like today?" Emma laughed softly and said, "Surprise me." Jake thought for a moment and then picked out a mix of colourful tulips and daisies. He made the bouquet carefully while they chatted. Emma told him about her love for painting. "I want to paint the park and the lake here," she said. "They are so beautiful." Jake listened with interest. "That sounds wonderful," he said. "You must be very talented." When Emma left the shop, Jake couldn't stop thinking about her. "Her smile makes my day better," he thought. "I hope she comes back again soon." As the weeks passed, Emma became a regular visitor at Jake's flower shop. Every time she came in, they would talk about everything from flowers to books and art. Jake started to look forward to her visits. There was something about her that made him feel happy and calm. One day, Jake decided to be brave. He had been thinking about it for a while and felt it was the right time. He walked up to Emma and said, "Would you like to go to the lake with me for a picnic?" Emma looked a little surprised but smiled. "That sounds lovely. I'd love to go." Jake felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. He spent the rest of the evening planning the picnic, hoping Emma would enjoy it. "I hope she has a good time," he thought as he packed sandwiches and drinks. On Sunday, the weather was perfect. The sun was shining, and the lake sparkled. Jake waited nervously at the park for Emma. When she arrived, she had a small basket in her hand. "Hi, Jake," she said with a big smile. "I brought some sandwiches." Jake smiled back and said, "Great." Let's find a nice spot by the lake. They sat under a large tree near the water and began to eat. As they ate, they talked about their dreams and what they wanted to do in the future. Jake shared his dream of creating a big garden where people could come and enjoy the flowers. One day, he said, "I want to build a beautiful garden." "That's a beautiful dream," Emma said. "I want to paint scenes from around the world, but first, I want to paint this lake." Emma took out a sketchbook and began drawing. Jake watched her, amazed by how quickly and smoothly her pencil moved across the page. After a while, Emma handed Jake the drawing. "This is for you," she said. Jake looked at the drawing. It was a picture of the lake, surrounded by flowers. "This is amazing," he said. "Thank you, Emma." As they sat there by the lake, something changed between them. Their friendship grew deeper, and they both realized that they felt more than just friendship. They shared a special connection, one that would continue to grow in the coming days. That was the start of something beautiful. The first meeting had been simple, but it was full of promise. Jake knew that he would see Emma again, and he couldn't wait to spend more time with her. After the picnic at the lake, Jake and Emma began spending more time together. Emma visited Bloom and Bright more often, each time with a new request for flowers. She would smile and greet Jake as she walked into the shop, and they would talk about everything from flowers to her artwork. Jake looked forward to these visits. Every time Emma came in, he felt a little happier. It was as if the day seemed brighter when she was around. One morning, Emma came into the shop by herself. "Hi, Jake," she said with a smile. "I need more flowers for my house." Jake's heart lifted at the sight of her. "Hello, Emma," he replied warmly. "I'm happy to see you again." "What kind of flowers would you like today?" Emma thought for a moment. "Surprise me," she said with a playful smile. Jake carefully selected a mix of colorful tulips and daisies. As he arranged the flowers, they began to chat. Emma told Jake about her love for painting. "I want to paint the park and the lake," she said. "They're so beautiful, and I want to capture their beauty on canvas." "That sounds wonderful," Jake said, genuinely interested. "You must be very talented," Emma smiled. "I try to be," she said humbly. As Jake finished making the bouquet, he handed it to Emma. "Here you go. I hope you like it," he said. Emma took the flowers and smiled. "I love them, Jake. Thank you." She gave him a warm smile, and Jake felt his heart flutter. Over the next few days, Jake found himself thinking about Emma often. He looked forward to their conversations, which made him feel like he wasn't alone anymore. Emma had become someone he looked forward to seeing, and he was happy that they had started to become good friends. He admired her passion for art and the way she spoke about her dreams. Emma was kind, gentle, and easy to talk to, and Jake appreciated that. One afternoon, Jake was thinking about how he could spend more time with Emma. He had an idea. He had never done anything like this before, but he decided to take a chance. He walked over to Emma, who was looking at some flowers in the corner of the shop. "Emma," Jake said, nervously, "I was wondering, would you like to go to the lake with me again? We could have a picnic." Emma looked surprised at first, but then smiled. "That sounds lovely," she said. "I would love to go." Jake felt his heart race. He was excited but also nervous about the picnic. He quickly started planning. He wanted everything to be perfect. He packed sandwiches, drinks, and snacks. He wanted to make sure Emma enjoyed the day, but he was also a little unsure. What if she doesn't enjoy it, he thought. But then he remembered how kind and easygoing Emma was. She had enjoyed the picnic last time, so he hoped she would feel the same way again. On Sunday, the weather was perfect. The sun was shining brightly, and the lake looked beautiful. Jake arrived early to set everything up. He found a quiet spot by the water and spread out the blanket. He couldn't wait to see Emma. When Emma arrived, she was carrying a small basket. "Hi, Jake," she said with a smile. "I brought some sandwiches." Jake smiled back. "Great. Let's sit down and enjoy our meal," he said. They sat on the blanket and began to eat. As they ate, they talked about their dreams. Jake shared his hope of someday creating a large garden where everyone in the town could enjoy the flowers. "I want to build a garden," he said, a place where people can come and relax, enjoy the flowers, and feel peaceful. Emma smiled. That's a beautiful dream, Jake, she said. I want to paint scenes from around the world, but first, I want to paint this lake. It's so peaceful here. She took out a sketchbook and began drawing. Jake watched as she quickly sketched the scene before her. After a while, Emma handed the drawing to Jake. This is for you, she said. Jake looked at the drawing. It was a beautiful sketch of the lake surrounded by flowers. This is amazing, he said, touched by her thoughtfulness. Thank you, Emma. I love it, Emma smiled. I'm glad you like it, she said softly. The day passed by quickly. They talked about their lives, their hobbies, and their dreams. The time seemed to fly as they enjoyed each other's company. By the end of the day, Jake felt like he had known Emma for much longer than just a few weeks. There was something about her that made him feel comfortable and happy. As they packed up their things to leave, Jake felt a sense of peace. He realized that he had begun to care for Emma more than he had expected. His feelings for her were growing, but he wasn't sure if she felt the same way. The next few weeks were filled with more visits to Bloom and Bright. Emma continued to stop by the shop regularly, and they talked about all sorts of things. Emma would share her new paintings with Jake, and Jake would tell Emma about his day. They were growing closer with every conversation. One day, while they were talking about the flowers in the shop, Jake realized that he was really looking forward to seeing Emma every day. He enjoyed spending time with her, and he began to think that maybe there was something more to their friendship. He felt nervous, but also excited at the thought of what might come next. Jake and Emma's connection was deepening, and both of them could feel it. They were building something special, something that was about to change both of their lives forever. And little did they know, their story was just beginning. As Jake and Emma spent more time together, their bond grew stronger. They enjoyed each other's company and shared many special moments. One day, as Jake was walking past Emma's house, he saw her in the garden looking frustrated. He walked over to her and asked, "Hi, Emma, what's wrong?" Emma looked up from the ground and sighed. "I'm trying to plant some flowers, but the soil is too hard. I don't know how to make it better," she said. Jake smiled and said, "Don't worry, I'll help you." He rolled up his sleeves and started showing Emma how to loosen the soil and make it soft enough for planting. Together, they worked in the garden, talking and laughing. It was a simple moment, but it brought them even closer. A few days later, Jake found himself busy at his shop. He had a large order for a wedding, and there were many flowers to arrange. Emma walked into the shop and saw how stressed Jake looked. "You look busy, Jake. Can I help?" she asked. Jake smiled and said, "Yes, please. I could use some help today." Emma rolled up her sleeves and helped Jake arrange the flowers. They worked together, making beautiful bouquets and talking about their favorite flowers. The hours passed quickly as they laughed and worked side by side. Jake realized that he was not only enjoying the work, but also enjoying spending time with Emma. "She makes everything more fun," he thought to himself. The town's annual fair was coming up, and Jake thought it would be a great chance to have some fun together. He asked Emma, "Would you like to go to the fair with me?" Emma smiled brightly and said, "Of course, I would love to." At the fair, they played games, ate cotton candy, and had a great time. Jake tried to win a teddy bear at one of the booths, but missed every time. Emma laughed and said, "Let me try." She took the ring and tossed it, winning the teddy bear on her first try. She handed it to Jake and said, "This is for you." They spent the evening enjoying the sights, sounds, and food at the fair. They even rode the Ferris wheel together. As the wheel reached the top, Emma looked out at the town below and said, "This is so beautiful." Jake looked at her and felt something special inside. "I'm glad I'm here with her," he thought. The moment felt perfect, and Jake knew that he wanted to spend more time with Emma. One evening, as a strong storm passed through the town, Jake was worried about Emma and her grandmother. The wind was strong, and rain poured down. He put on his raincoat and went to check on them. When he arrived, Emma was trying to move her grandmother's plants to safety. The wind was knocking over the parts, and she needed help. "I'm here to help," Jake shouted over the wind. Together, they moved the plants inside, keeping them safe from the storm. Emma's grandmother thanked Jake for his help, saying, "You are a kind young man." After the storm passed, Emma looked at Jake and said, "Thank you for coming. I don't know what I would have done without you." Jake smiled and said, "I'll always be here to help." Later that evening, as the storm passed and the town grew quiet, Emma and Jake sat together on her porch, watching the stars. Emma turned to Jake and said, "You're always so kind. Thank you for helping us today." Jake looked at her, his heart full. "I care about you, Emma," he said softly. "You're special to me," Emma smiled gently. "You're special to me too, Jake," she replied. That night, as they sat together, both Jake and Emma realized that their feelings for each other were growing stronger. They felt a deep connection, and they both knew that something important was starting to happen between them. The next day, Jake invited Emma to take a walk with him. He wanted to show her something special. They walked to the edge of the town, where there was a large, empty field. The grass was tall, and the area looked forgotten. Jake stopped and turned to Emma. "This is where I dream of building a beautiful garden," he said. "I want to create a place where people can come and enjoy the flowers, a place where they can relax and feel happy." Emma looked around at the empty field and smiled. "It's a wonderful idea, Jake," she said. "This place has so much potential. Let's do it together." Jake felt a spark of hope. With Emma by his side, his dream didn't seem impossible. He felt excited, knowing that they could make this dream come true together. The next day, they began working on the garden. They cleared the weeds, dug up the soil, and planted seeds. It was hard work, but they were both happy. They laughed and talked as they worked, and the garden slowly began to take shape. With each step, their bond grew stronger. As the days went by, the people of the town began to notice what Jake and Emma were doing. Some of the townspeople stopped by to see the garden and offered to help. They brought tools, seeds, and snacks to keep Jake and Emma energized. With everyone's help, the garden began to grow. One day, Emma had an idea. "I want to add something special to the garden," she said. She brought her paints and brushes and began working on a large mural on one of the garden walls. The mural was full of flowers, birds, and a bright blue sky. It was colorful and full of life. When Emma finished, Jake stood back and looked at the mural. "This is incredible," he said. "You've made the garden even more beautiful." Emma smiled, feeling proud. "I wanted to make it special for you, Jake." As the garden began to take shape, it became more than just a garden. It was a symbol of their hard work, their dreams, and their growing love for each other. Jake and Emma spent their days caring for the plants, watching the flowers bloom, and feeling proud of what they had created together. They knew that their journey was just beginning. Together, they were building something beautiful, not just for themselves but for the whole town to enjoy. And as the garden grew, so did their love. Beautiful and meaningful way, what started as a simple meeting at the flower shop grew into a deep friendship, and then into love. Jake, who once felt lonely, found someone who shared his dreams and passions. Emma, who had moved to a new town, found a place and a person who truly understood her. Together, they created something special, a garden that brought joy to their town and to themselves. The garden was not just about flowers, it was about building something meaningful with love, teamwork, and shared dreams. It showed how small acts of kindness, support, and hard work can grow into something beautiful. The lesson from their story is clear. Dreams can come true when you work together, believe in each other, and stay dedicated. Just like Jake and Emma, each of us has dreams, big or small. The key to achieving them is not only hard work, but also the support and love of others. It is important to trust people, open your heart, and be willing to help others achieve their goals too. Whether it's in our personal lives, work, or community, working together and supporting each other can bring about great things. So, how can we apply this lesson to our own lives? First, think about the goals you have, no matter how big or small they may seem. Then, find someone who shares your vision, or even support someone else's dream. Just like Jake and Emma, when we come together with trust and effort, we can create something beautiful that can bring happiness to ourselves and others. We also learn from this story that life isn't just about waiting for things to happen. It's about taking action, like Jake did when he decided to build a garden. Even when things seemed hard, he didn't give up. Instead, he found help from Emma and the people in the town, and together, they made his dream a reality. This reminds us to take small steps each day towards our own goals, and to be patient and persistent. I want to congratulate you for improving your listening and understanding of English by following Jake and Emma's journey. You've worked hard and learned new vocabulary, expressions, and ideas through this story. Keep practicing, and your English will continue to grow stronger. Now, to keep things fun and interactive, I have a small quiz question for you. Please comment with your answer. Question: what was the special thing that Jake and Emma built together? A house, be a garden? Please leave your answer in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great stories and lessons. Your support helps us continue making content that's designed to help you improve your English. If you enjoyed this story, consider donating to help support the creation of quality content. We do this work for free because we want to help you learn, and your support means the world to us. Thank you for being part of this journey, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.